This little camera gets a lot of hate. I mean, a lot of hate. Now, is it justified? That's debatable. But for the money, I feel like it might just be one of the best cameras available. In fact, it's really taught me quite a bit about photography and printing, and I'm gonna share more of that later in the video. It's just like the film process. It becomes something more creative and beautiful than my perfectionism would ever allow me to create. But first, I wanna go over why you should probably give the Holga a chance. The first reason, it's just a really simple and fun camera to use. There's not much to it. It's a plastic body, plastic lens. I think there's 2 shutter speeds and 1 aperture. So there's not a lot of decision making involved, and that makes it simple and fun. And this allows me to look at things in a completely different way when I'm out working with this camera. That combined with the unique look it gives me. I was watching a video by Thomas Heaton, and I really love his videos and perspectives on things. And it was one that was a while back where he had purchased a Hasselblad, and he was going around where he normally wouldn't have been taking these images anymore around his city or town. But the fact that he was shooting it with this older style film camera gave him this new set of eyes. And that is really how I feel with my Holga compared to if I'm shooting with one of my other film cameras. So the Holga has this different look to it, and it gives me that same kind of mindset when I'm out. Like, I can shoot things in my city or very plain surroundings, and it gives me this different creative aspect or feeling of shooting these things. It's just a super, super cheap camera. I think you can get one of these for around $40. You can't get much of anything anymore for $40, so that is saying something right there. And if you like the Holga style image that you get, it might just be the best value in photography today. Reason number 3 would be Michael Kenna uses one. That's a terrible reason to make the list, but he does. So there was an article I came across in amateurphotographer.com, and I found this very interesting, his perspectives on the Holga and why he shoots one. And the reason he stated was this: I began to photograph with a Holga camera because they were light, playful, and unpredictable. I've used Hasselblad cameras for 30 years, and Holga cameras haven't replaced them. They've just given my work a little extra twist. Photographs made with a Holga camera are far more unpredictable, which I rather like. They've taken me out of my comfort zone, and the overall experience has been one of surprise and discovery. And this really does describe my experience with the Holga to a T. It's the unpredictable nature, and I like to pair that with another reason, is that I love Lith printing these negatives. Now, I know this isn't something that everybody's gonna do, and if you're unfamiliar with Lith printing, it's an alternative process in the darkroom, but it's very unpredictable, and it's got its own quirky nature, and it's a very imperfect process that just kind of has its own characteristics. And these 2 things combined allow me to create very interesting images from really ordinary things. So the Holga is very, very lightweight. It's one of the things I love about it. It weighs next to nothing. I don't know the exact specs, but it's, like I said, it's next to nothing. It also doesn't require any batteries and is very weather resistant. I don't know if that's the right word. Weatherproof. No, there's no weather sealing on it, but I don't get worried at all about shooting this in the worst of weather. And the reason being is there's really nothing on it to get damaged. Now, water could get into the camera, but that might actually add to the characteristics of any images you're shooting. I'm not sure, water typically doesn't get in mine. But the point is I don't hesitate to take it out when it's raining. Because it's so lightweight, I will often take this camera on a run and I don't even notice it. I just tuck it in my hip pack and like I said, I don't even know it's there. So my preferred camera is the Holga, and if I think it's gonna be inclement weather, for sure, because it gets me excited about taking pictures in the rain or in these situations where I just wouldn't take out some of my nicer film cameras because I don't want them to get damaged. So the Holga has really taught me quite a few lessons, but the biggest being to appreciate the flaws and imperfections of film and this camera and allowing them to be a part of the process and the final image. I for sure have a really, really hard time with perfectionism, especially when it comes to printing. If things aren't just perfect in a print, I tend to just trash it. And these are things that no other human would ever get that close to the print, or it just would not bother them. They wouldn't care. They would not see it. But these are still things that will cause me to just trash the whole print and fill my wastebasket. And I think a lot of photographers struggle with this as well. We tend to be our own worst critics. Now, what I love about the Holga, it gives me a little bit of an excuse or a way out of this perfectionism because it is what it is. And a lot of times it's just like the film process. It becomes something more creative and beautiful than my perfectionism would ever allow me to create. This camera is for when I want the flaws, I want the grit, I want the grain. And that's more often than not these days. And if you really like this video, you'll love the next one, so check it out right here.